Yeah, that was an issue that I realized I had because I got a new camera, and the camera has audio, and the Zoom was automatically connecting to the camera's audio, so I was sounding like crap for like 2 podcasts, and I didn't realize it until after I started editing. But
Wow.
it's just the way the
I'm,
cookie
me- I'm
crumbles.
messing with all the stuff. I haven't been on Zoom in forever. I use Microsoft Teams for everything.
Can you record on there?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just
Yeah.
something else.
Do
So
you feel like is the quality better on Microsoft Teams than Zoom?
it's the same for what I use it for. It's the same.
Are you more like for your job? Are you more just like talking to people, or you have your camera on and all that stuff too?
Um, it depends. I'll try to have the camera on if that's kind of what the vibe is, but it's always weird if it's like only one side has the camera and the other one doesn't.
Well, we do that for school. We'll have like these IEP meetings, and we'll be talking to parents, and like we have a whole team, and everybody's got their camera on except for the parent. They're like calling it on their phone.
Yeah, that I don't know. I think it's either everyone's off or um, everyone's on.
Yeah, I mean, when I was in school or when I was teaching during COVID, I was the only one that had my screen on. Actually, no, there was one kid that would show up every single time. He would always have his screen on. Everybody else just screens off, audio off, probably not even there, probably playing video games, just hanging out.
Sure. Yeah, it's good accountability.
Yeah. How's practice been going?
Good.
That's
You
good.
mean,
Yeah, you've been
well, I
coaching, haven't you?
mean, yeah, that's what I was saying. Well, what do you know where I'm coaching? I was trying to figure out what you know
I
already.
don't remember. I know you were coaching. Is it the same place you were coaching before?
Yeah, I coach at our local freestyle club. Actually, this next week's our last week. So this past Saturday and Sunday was the freestyle Greco state, and then the Northern Plains Regional is in Minnesota this year. So
Nice.
we're gonna have some wrestlers there this weekend too. So this will be my last week of coaching for the spring.
You have guys going to Fargo that qualified already?
We have a couple. Our club's pretty small, so not like we have a ton of guys kind of punching through. But and for the record, I'm the assistant coach at our freestyle club, one of many assistant coaches, which is pretty sweet. Um, but our head coach it's pretty badass. Is Max McAnally, so he comes
Oh,
in
nice.
and runs. Except when he's not there, because he was gone for the U.S. Open a couple weeks ago, and we'll pick up the slack. But he comes in and runs all the workouts, and we just kind of walk around and help out all us old guys. So it's pretty
How is
sweet.
how long has he been the head coach?
For our freestyle club,
Yeah.
he was coming back last year. Him and another Minnesota guy. We're both splitting days, and now it's just Max this year. So
Nice. Is he have to do all the administrative stuff too?
no, we try to make it as easy as possible for him. Just show up and coach, and you know, go home. Don't worry about anything else. He's already got enough to do.
Yeah. I feel like it's gotta be tough trying to balance school and then getting your own practices in and also doing coaching, but I think it's also fun.
Yeah, he seems to like it. Well, and he's from here, from Waconia. This is where he grew up, so it's like I think that's probably why we get him instead of anyone else, and he'll put the effort to come back over here. It's kind of giving back to his hometown.
And you guys go and watch him wrestle and stuff, right? Home duels.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's
Do you
pretty
get
fun. Out at NCAA's, um, I was sitting right with like his brother and a bunch of his high school buddies for his third place match with his wrestling plot, and it was pretty cool. It was his brother's birthday too,
Oh,
so
nice.
they were already having a good time, and I was kind of sitting there, and that was a pretty good match actually. So you had to get like that last takedown to go ahead, and it was like 30 something seconds left. He had just taken him down to tie, and we're all arguing what he should do. It's like, should he try to ride him? Should he cut him? I was like, he's got to cut him. It's like he's got to go get another takedown. But yeah, it was
I
pretty cool
mean,
sitting there.
yeah, in that situation, I don't remember if he had if Plot had a stall call or not. I don't think he did.
They both had one. They each had
Oh,
one.
okay. And then
So
how much time was left on the clock? Like 30 something seconds?
yeah, it was like maybe 33, 36.
Yeah. And he wasn't close to riding time?
Well, no, I think I forget if it's he had to ride for the win, like a 1 point win, or ride for a tie, or he had to kick him loose for a win for sure. But riding time, I don't think was going to be an issue either way.
Yeah. I think if he had shown like he was able to ride him earlier in the match, maybe ride him, but you got to put him where he's best. If he can go get a takedown, go get a takedown. He's already got a stall call against him. There's time left. Like you've been in these
Yeah,
situations of practice. Just go get it. Go take
that's
it.
what I said. That was my argument there. I said he's a peacock. You got to let him fly.
And he just got a takedown. You
Yep.
know, it's like has a little momentum.
Well, and then it changes the whole dynamic. I think it goes from like you're kind of hanging on, riding them, and you might get called for stalling, right? If you're just kind of hanging on,
Yeah.
it kind of makes it shifts the whole like view of the
You're on the
match. Like
defensive.
you're kind of stalling to hang on, or you cut him loose. Now he's stalling to hang on because you need the takedown, and you're going to come at him hard. So, and he's pretty dang good on his feet. So just like put him up.
Yeah, put him where he's good. Put him in the best spot where he can win the match.
Yeah.
If he was better on top, maybe, you know, I mean, not say that he's not good on top, but yeah, if his best position is neutral, he's athletic, you know, and Plot's is actually Plot is from Bakersfield originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good friends with Andrew Blumhoff. Um, and he actually came and we do like a Bible study with our team like once every couple weeks. But yeah, Plot actually came on and talked about his story and shared his faith with us, and it was cool. But he admitted he's like, I am not an athlete. Like I'm not very athletic. And Max McAnally is for sure an athlete. Like I think he could have gone and played football somewhere, right?
Yeah, he was getting recruited to play football. I don't know too much detail, but I know that was kind of like before he was getting recruited to wrestle, he was getting football looks.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, no. So back to that, it was pretty cool to sit there with like his brother and a bunch of his high school buddies as they're all going crazy, cheering him on, and well, we were all going crazy, but most of the tournament I was in a different section, but that match I came down and hung out with the boys.
What section were you in?
Oh, I don't know, up top
You
somewhere. I
nosebleeds?
couldn't. Yeah, I was up there.
He just snuck down.
I was in lower bowl. No, they weren't lower bowl either. It was just a different section.
I keep saying I want to go. It was funny because Jake Andrews qualified, and I was talking to him about it, and a couple of my buddies were like, "Dude, you got to go! Like that's like the first guy you coach or whatever that's qualified." And I was like, "Yeah, like I thought about going, and I actually have a sister in my class, so his sister was asking like, "Hey, are you gonna go?" And I was like, "Well, it's kind of expensive." And I was talking to my wife about it, and Emma was like, "You got to go, babe. Like, you got to go." Like, I'm like, "All right, like, look up flights." Like, and I know full well. And she's looking up flights, and she's like, "Oh, that's kind of expensive." And I'm like, "Yeah, look up the tickets." And she's like, "Yeah, you're not going." Like, you're not going because it's
Yeah,
last minute at that point. It's like, dude, it's a lot of money.
yeah.
But
It was. It keeps getting spendier and spendier, but it is fun. It is a good time. Some of your old teammates were out there. I got to hang out with some of those guys for a little bit. Alex and Noah. Josh Brown was out there too. So had some road runners out there. Well, Wyatt was out there warming up with AJ. So I
oh,
didn't get a
really?
chance. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see Wyatt, but he was working, so that's probably a good thing I didn't see him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
figured,
guess
yeah, Jake would have warmed up with him or something.
probably a little bit, but I guess AJ really liked working out with Wyatt as the year went on. So they kind of took Wyatt there last minute to have for AJ. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Wyatt came in our room a few times. Just super good guy and just loves wrestling, which yeah, we were only, I think, on the team together 1 year. But yeah, solid dude. That's cool. That's a cool story. Dude,
What else is good?
you got your dogs getting after it back there, or is that Katie?
That's Katie just showed up with some food.
What's up, Katie? Katie, what are we having for dinner?
She can't hear you because I got
Oh, dang it. Dang it.
these in. So this doesn't have a microphone, so you're probably picking it up from the computer.
Yeah, that's okay. You tell her I said hi.
Brian says hi.
Hi, Brian. Sorry.
Are you okay?
What have you
What's
been
she
up
get?
to? What's good?
Just good, man. Just been coaching a lot. We're actually going to go to Western Regionals this weekend. I'm pretty excited about it. We're leaving in a 15 passenger van right after school, and we're driving from Bakersfield to Utah. So it's like a 10 to 12 hour drive, driving through the night. It's me and two other coaches, and then a couple parents are going to drive. We have a few more kids that are going, so we're just going to just mop up there. And then we're going to work out. You probably don't know, Mikhail Sanderson, not Kale, Mikhail. He's like one of the cousins. He actually coached with us for a little bit. We're going to work out at his old high
His
school.
name is what's his name?
Mckell Sanderson. If you see him, like, yeah, he looks like a Sanderson. Bald, beautiful bald head.
So it's literally pronounced like
Mikhail.
kale, but Mikhail.
Yeah. But he's a super good dude. And I actually didn't know this. I just randomly hit up like a high school that was close to Orem, because we're going to do a college, like an unofficial like college visit and just walk around the campus and check it out. But I wanted to like get a high school that was in the vicinity, and I don't remember the name of it. It starts with a T. But I just randomly hit the guy up, and the head coach, and he messaged me back, and he was like, "Hey, do you know Mikhail Sanderson?" I'm like, "Yeah, like he was on our staff." He's like, "Yeah, like this was his high school. Like his dad was my coach," and it just was cool. Like just thinking, just it randomly hitting this guy up, and we happen to know people, like the same people, so it was funny. But I feel like that happens all the time with wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah, ends up being a pretty small world.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Like, yeah, so I'm
That's
excited.
Gonna be a fun trip. Anytime
Yeah.
you can like get a bunch of guys in a van and just like have a good road trip, ends up being pretty fun.
Yeah, I was actually thinking. I think the last time I was there, we did kind of did the same thing. We didn't drive to Orem. I think we might have flew into. We might have wrestled Wyoming first and then drove down to Utah Valley.
Might have been Boise and Utah Valley.
Yeah, it could have been that one, but I just remember being uncomfortable in the back, and we were listening to some music, and we were all kind of just like humming to the song. But it's like those are the best times.
Well, I mean, this is complete segue, but you said you were miserable in the back, and then it made me think of the trip to Arizona.
I had Emma. We had a birthday party for Emma, and Carlos was over, and we were reminiscing. And Carlos was like, "Yeah, remember when we were talking about uncomfortable trips, and we were talking about driving out to Tempe?" And he started talking about it, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Dude, when you had a freaking seizure in the back," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, how about that one?"
That's for sure the most scared I've ever been as a coach. Not even close.
Gosh, I'm sorry to put you through that.
Well, I mean, it's like I'll never forget it. It was just like I'm driving. We're driving down the 10. We're getting like right up. I mean, any later, and it would have sucked because we're in the middle of nowhere. We kind of just were still at least in that Palm Springs area where there's a couple things. But Sean Nickel, Sean Nickel, just goes real serious. He's not very serious, super sarcastic. Sean. But Sean goes, "Hey, coach." But I'm already annoyed with Sean. Yeah, I think Brian is having like some sort of episode. I was like, what does that mean?
Because I had a seizure the year before.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I think he's having a seizure. And I was like, is he or is he not having a seizure right now? Yeah, he is. I was like, and I'm driving on the freeway, and I'm like, I don't even know what's the best thing to do, because I'm like, either I can pull over, dial 911, and there's like, an ambulance will probably come out here, or I just start driving to an ER, and then I'm like, I think Hanky was riding shotgun. I was like, Hanky, just find like the closest doctor, whatever. And he found like an urgent care. And all right, he plugs it in. I'm blowing through red lights, stop signs, and the whole time I was like, "Oh my god, Brian's gonna die in the back here." And I'm just like trying to like not crash, and I'm just literally trying to get through every stop sign and red light. And I tell Hanky, it's like, "Hey, call that urgent care, give him a heads up, tell him, we have a wrestler that just had a seizure, and we got to like get him seen right away." So he calls them to give him a heads up. And we're like, don't bring him here. And he's trying to tell this to me. And he goes, hey, they're saying not to bring him. And I was like, no, tell them we're going to bring him and they're going to see him. They said, no. He said, they told me if you bring him, all they're going to do is call 911. It's just going to take longer for him to get seen. And they said, we're better off going to like the emergency room. It was like a town over. It was in Indio. And then I was like, oh my God. All right. So what's that address? And now it's like in my mind, which probably total was like 8 to 10 minutes, felt like an eternity, because the whole time I was like, the longer I take, the worse it's going to be. Right.
Yeah.
And then we finally get there. I pull up right to the, basically right up to the front door of the ER. Everyone gets out. We open the back doors of the van where you're sleeping, and everyone's like just watching. You wake up and you're like, hey guys, why is everyone watching me? We're like, what? It was the craziest thing ever. And
But you're like, you're out of it. I don't even like, I remember waking up and like Dalen's over me. I'm like, what's up? And he's like,
yeah,
what do you mean what's up, dude? Like, you're just
Dalen was the man. He hopped right into action. He was
Yeah.
like making sure you didn't like choke on your tongue or anything or any of that crazy stuff, or you didn't bite your
He might
tongue
have done
off.
CPR on me, dude. My chest was
He
bothering
was
him. Like, dude, you freaking jerk. Like, I was just wake me up. Like, I'm fine.
No, he was the man. He was like monitoring your pulse and everything. I was like, man, sprung right into action. What a dude.
Like, he's a guy that I feel like in those kind of situations, like I would trust, like to handle business.
Oh, he was like calm, was doing all the right things, and it was just like, all right. It was awesome.
I think he was telling me like he had got his CPR certification maybe like 2 years ago or 2 years prior or something. And he's had like multiple situations where he's had to do like CPR on people. And I don't know if it's like it happens once and then it's like you have to keep doing it, but you know what I mean? Like I don't know if the odds increase or like you're just aware of those situations, you hop right in. But yeah, that was an epic trip for sure.
Yeah, and then you wanted to wrestle. You still wanted to go wrestle, and I was like, I think we
I
can
was
miss
thinking
this
game
one.
plan. I'm like, hey, like I know this IV's in me right now, but like just give me the day to chill, and then tomorrow, like I'll be fine. Like
I was like,
we'll
nah,
get back
nah.
into it.
I was like, no, we're probably better off if you don't. It's all good. And well, the weirdest thing is, so then I remember, so everyone else went on. Me and you hung back at the ER, and like all the tests they ran on you, everything came back, and they were like, "Yep, you're fine." I was like, "What?"
Well, unless they actually have me hooked up, like they can't read anything. It's just like an episode in your brain. It's like a
Yeah,
misfiring of your neurons or something. And I made sure because I had to go through an ordeal after the first one to get cleared. So I'm like, hey, like, am I good? Like, can you put it on paper that I'm good to wrestle? Like if I need to,
yeah.
because the
You
year
wrestled the next
before,
week.
yeah, which dude, we've talked about, I did not want to wrestle in that duel, by the way. That is like the only time I was like, dude,
Which one?
I'm over it. The CBU duel.
You didn't
the
want to
next
wrestle in
week.
that one, but you wanted to wrestle the day after.
Yeah, I'll do that one. But I wasn't really aware of what was going on. I was out of it pretty good. But I remember like the next week, it was like my body was all sore. And obviously it was like a non-conference opponent. And I'm like, dude, like I just have conference and that's it. Like I didn't want to wrestle in that one. I think I actually wrestled pretty crappy. My weight ballooned
Did you?
up. Yeah.
Well, why didn't you say something?
I just thought you were going to have Reed wrestle.
Well, I didn't know
I
you
just
wanted to
assumed.
wrestle. You wanted to wrestle the week before so bad, and I felt bad for not letting you wrestle.
That's
So I
fine.
was
I'll
fine,
take
like,
it.
hey, wrestle this one.
It's all water under the bridge right now. It's okay.
Yeah, that was a wild trip. That's for sure the craziest van trip, and by far the most scared I ever was as a coach.
Well, I'm glad I could give you that moment.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you get to see a lot of injuries when you coach, but most of them are like a broken bone, a dislocated this or that, torn ACL, but something like that's just different.
Well, because it's like it's kind of out of your realm. Like unless you really know or have seen it, it's like it's so uncomfortable. I think like head injuries, well, even concussion. Like I've been around concussions before. Like I can recognize that, but like seizure, I've never actually seen somebody have one. So it's kind of like, what do I do? You know. But if it's like somebody jacks up their knee or their elbow or ankle or whatever, it's like all right, I this is in my realm. What about as an athlete? What's the craziest trip that you can think of as an athlete?
Wrestling wise,
Yeah, or soccer or whatever.
I don't know. They were all pretty similar. I wouldn't say there was anyone that was like crazy. You know,
I mean,
just
what sticks out to you the most about all those trips?
just hanging out with your teammates. You
Yeah,
know, it's like you can kind of think back on results and like, okay, I did well at this one. I didn't do so well on this one, whatever. Or or so and so, my teammate had a good tournament here, whatever. But you kind of just remember like all the stupid like screwing around in the hotel or in the van. You know, people getting mad at each other or joking around, just like uh, just the camaraderie, really.
yeah. I mean, that's the favorite part. That's probably the part I think most people miss is that part. It's just being able to hang out with the guys and just get up to shenanigans sometimes. Safe shenanigans, like not over the top shenanigans, at least in my experience.
Sure.
But I remember this. I remember playing Uno in the airport.
Oh yeah,
That was a big one.
Uno's yeah, we played a lot of Uno for a while, didn't we?
Yeah, you would always bring cards, and I actually remember we were on a flight together, and we played 1v1, dude. And I kept beating you, and you kept getting mad. You're like, "This is dumb. It's not cool unless there's a lot of people playing."
I was letting you. I was trying to build up your confidence for the trip.
Oh, I appreciate it. I
Yeah, of
think
course.
we might have been on the. What if we were on the way back? I don't remember if we were on the way back.
It was on the way there. I wouldn't let you win on the way back.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket. Keep like a deck of Uno cards, and then somebody's having a bad day. I'm like, hey, let's play some Uno and let them win.
Get some W's. Yeah, goes a long way.
I did that. I would do that in practice sometimes. I saw Hanky do that with somebody where like he got all mad because he gave up a takedown, like hit the mat. And then I remember like talking to him after. I'm like, dude, why? I've never seen you react like that. He was like, well, I was trying to build up his confidence. I had to make it look legit.
Oh yeah, yeah. These old tricks of the trade. When we would do like runs on the track and we'd time you guys like towards the end of the season, I'd always say you guys were faster than you really were, just to make you feel good.
No
Oh
way.
yeah, oh yeah, all the time.
Dude, that's like heresy, man. Like, I can't believe that.
You're not that fast. No, I was making it up.
Like, man, like I knew I sold out on that one. Can't believe it.
It works, right?
Yeah. Dude, I wish we weren't recording for that, man. Because if anybody watches this, any of our high school guys are gonna be like, "Oh man, what the heck?" Or they know it's
No, they know you. They know you haven't been doing it.
That's funny. That's funny. Are there other things that like I should know about?
Maybe
Tricks of
it's
the
enough for
trade?
now. Yeah.
Okay. You gotta wait like every year, just like peel back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Now there's probably more, but those are pretty easy ones.
Well, the running actually makes sense. The one where like you give up a takedown and overreact. I tried doing that, and I tried doing that maybe like first couple of years coaching. Then after we were like jogging, because I got all mad and like I stormed out and then came back in like a minute later. The dude's like, "Dude, what was that? Like, I know you didn't let me get that." And I was like, "Is it that obvious?" He goes, "Yeah, because you never do that." I'm like, "All right, yeah, true."
Yeah, those can be more obvious. It is hard to know how fast you really are running unless you're like a runner, and you don't have like a watch. You're just kind of like at your coach's mercy at what time you come in.
Well, I think I might have ran with a watch a couple times. I mean, I actually really didn't start wearing one until I did the J Rob camps, and then I just wear one all the time now. But yeah, I feel like that would ruin your bluff right there if somebody had a watch or like would keep time or was like a competitive runner.
Yeah, probably, but probably just bully them into being wrong.
Or they just don't say anything.
Yeah, or not.
They
If they
just
did,
take
I'd
it.
be like, your watch is wrong. Your watch sucks. Get a new one. What's the popular term now? Gaslight, I believe, is the
Yeah.
term. Yeah.
Yeah. You just keep saying the right thing or saying what you believe is the right thing over and over until that person gets
Mhm.
confused or just gives up.
Yeah.
Like being right is just how well you can argue, really.
Yeah. Or how much? Not
How
how
much you
well.
argue? Yeah. It's kind of like I mean, I don't have kids yet, but just talking to some of the high school guys, it's just like just digging in sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
just keep
you were
going.
always pretty good at arguing or questioning things, Brian.
Yeah. I feel like the kind of athlete now is not somebody that will just do it because you said so. Like they got to know why, the reason why. And
Sure.
if I was doing that, you know, not just because I'm a coach now and have to deal with it on my end, that's part of it. But on the other hand, you know, I apologize if I was being difficult. I've come to terms in the last couple of years. I really don't like being wrong.
Yeah. I don't
It's a
think anyone
tough
does,
pill.
but it's okay. No, you
Yeah,
know what's funny? I think you might be the person who made me think of the phrase. I think we were like it wasn't even like wrestling. It wasn't even important, but we were just arguing about something dumb before a practice. And then I remember you were like, well, I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree. And I was like, no, I disagree to disagree because you're wrong. And I know you're wrong. And I was like,
man,
it made me think of
was
the
I that
term
bad?
that time. Yeah. But I remember thinking like you made me think of a new term, disagree to disagree. I don't even agree to disagree with you.
I do remember you saying that though. I don't. I feel bad being somebody that would argue with you all the time. I didn't think I had that. I
I
was
wouldn't
doing that.
say I wouldn't say all the time, but when you dug in, you would just stay strong.
I will say like you know, something that stood out to me in our time where it was coach athlete was you know, get your legs back, sprawl. And I would try, man. Like I would try my darndest. I couldn't pick up my feet. And then by that time they're already in so deep, like all I could really do was scramble. Which I think I told you that was like one of the first things I remember, like coaching at a high school tournament, and somebody got to our kids' legs, and we had just spent so much time like trying to sprawl, and I was like, "Freaking get your legs back!" And then it dawned on me, like I had like an out of body experience, and I'm like, "Oh man!" Like I thought of you right away. I'm like, "All right, this is some karma, like coming back at me real quick."
Oh yeah. No, the more you coach, the more you realize like oh, that's what my coach meant. Like, that's what he was trying to tell me. And you're just too young to get it sometimes. But that's everyone. Actually, I saw J Rob this past weekend.
How's he doing?
He's doing okay. You know, he's has a little bit of struggles physically and a little bit mentally, but you talk to him for like 15, 20 minutes. It's really, I didn't have a chance to talk to him too much, but saw him just for a little bit, and he was great. He's still J-Rob, right? He's like still has so much wisdom, and like he's always still trying to like teach you something. So it was awesome to talk to him.
I mean, I was only around him really for a summer, but like I think I was maybe afraid to talk to him at first because he's obviously a big figure in wrestling. But I just kind of got up the nerves just to kind of go like sit and have lunch with him because a lot of times he'd sit by himself, or if we had like alumni, like Minnesota alumni in town, or he'd come and sit with them. But yeah, even just getting to talk to him a little bit, dude, and just trying to pick his brain. Just so much wisdom and so many great ideas. Like he was talking about trying to like figure out ways to get guys or get non-wrestling people into the stands for duels. And he talked about how you just have tickets. You just walk around with tickets, and he'd be talking to somebody at the grocery store and say, "Oh, I'm the wrestling coach." And he's like, "Here's 2 tickets. Come,
Yeah.
come watch."
Yeah, no, he's always had like a great mind for like he always had like certain things he wanted to grow and improve on. He was like big on improvement, so it kind of forced him to be or drove him to be creative in certain ways, right? Like just like handing out tickets to random people. Like I don't know, that's not something I would think of.
He had a juggler, I think, come once because he was trying to think like, how can I maximize the family dollar? So
Yeah,
like, hey, you could go to the movie or you could go to like watch wrestling, and then they're gonna have like a juggler or a magician
yeah,
for like perform at halftime.
yeah. He had like acrobats and all kinds of like random like acts for between that 10-minute intermission.
Like circus acts.
Yeah, yeah, almost like Cirque du Soleil type guys. He had a couple times.
That's pretty epic. I feel like I've tried to do stuff like that, but people are like, "Dude, you're crazy. Like, why?" But I think it's just try to sell them like, nah, because like J Rob said it was cool or it worked,
Yeah,
which I don't know if it actually worked, but it does sound out of the box.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the whole thing, right? Try something. If it doesn't work, well, big deal. Yeah,
We only have so many duels per year though with the high school level. It's just like when you think of like costs and stuff, it just makes more sense to go do a tournament. When I say cost, it's not just like financial, but it's like, we're adding another way in. Kids are wrestling more in high school than they are in college. So it's like, do we really want to add another way in the middle of the week when instead we could just, get another practice and get ready for the 2-day tournament that's later that week?
for sure. I wouldn't disagree. It's just it disrupts like a practice routine or a week of training so much that I can see why um, you know avoiding them might be better. But I don't know. It's
I
also
mean,
a part of it.
it kind of, I think maybe just depends on who you're wrestling too. Like, I think we've gotten to the point where most local teams where it's like, we can kind of just train through them really. And that's not to be disrespectful. I think it's just, our kids have gotten to the point where they're good. And a lot of times we'll bump kids up for duels just to go and get a match. But I think what makes it tough, and this is kind of where I struggle, is because I don't think I was like that. The kids love like the limelight. Like kids love the attention to the point where like we have kids that are going out and like having friends or like even sometimes paying people like to come and bring their cameras and like take pictures of them and do like little reels and stuff just because that's like they see other kids doing that and they're like, well, we're going to be like them. And on one hand, like I kind of respect it just because in this day and age, like you are kind of promoting yourself and building yourself up. But it's like, dude, you're focusing on the wrong things. Like if we want a team videographer, like we'll worry about that. Like you don't need to worry about that. You're putting too much energy into it.
Yeah, that is I think very common now. I think kids and not just wrestlers, but like just like this younger generation's grown up with social media, like now since they were born, basically, where they're just used to being able to get a crowd off their phone or off like the internet. and get attention. Where obviously, I mean, we didn't really have that. So no, it's just kind of common. It's just normal.
I mean, most I feel like bigger college programs have some kind of video editing team or videography going on. I mean, I know I don't think maybe when you were in college you necessarily had that stuff, but I do remember what's the documentary? It was Dog Days.
Yep, we had
Came
dog
in.
days, so they came in for like 3 days or something, and they filmed. And honestly, like I know they interviewed a couple guys, but for the most part, it's like I don't hardly even remember them being there.
You're in there.
I know. I
You're on
don't
the
even
treadmill.
hardly even remember it. I was just like, but yeah, it ended up being pretty good. I thought. I know I'm
Yeah,
not in there a lot, but it was pretty decent.
yeah, that one was good. And that one and ESPN the season
The season,
were
yep, that's kind of like
that
the
was a good
main
one.
one. Yeah.
That's actually the first time I heard "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner, and I watched that. And
I
with Luke
asked you
Moffett.
last time, how'd
Yeah,
you come up with that podcast name? That's
yeah,
right.
Luke Moffett playing on guitar, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this song's really good. Like, I was like, did he write that? He couldn't have wrote that. And then I hear it at the end. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, this is a good song.
That's right.
When you think about, so for that song, like I would listen to it before I'd go out and wrestle. Just more in high school. I didn't really do that in college. But when you think about like your pre-match routine, or like when you talk to the guys that you coach now, I guess like what do you talk about? Like, do you remember your own routine, and then how has it maybe evolved the way you talk to kids now about it, if you do?
No, for freestyle, I'm just like super chill, to be honest. I just like,
Yeah, heck yeah,
you know, I just like go try something. Really, it's like who cares? And a lot of our guys haven't done freestyle before, or even like especially Greco. But most of them haven't wrestled freestyle. A lot of like first year freestylers. So a lot of them are just kind of timid and they don't know the rules that great. They don't know this and that. And I'm just like, who cares? Just go try something we practiced. If you don't get it, big deal. You're better off trying something and not getting it than just like being timid and you're still gonna get tossed or something.
yeah.
So it's just like I don't know. The main things I focus on is just take some risk, try something.
Well, I think actually being a little bit relaxed and just like just seeing it like that, like just go get better, go try to hit something cool, like go work on what we've been doing in practice, like it just keeping it simple, like not making it a bigger deal than what it is.
Yeah, it's
You have better performances most of the time.
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like I've only been to a couple tournaments this freestyle season, so I haven't coached a lot, like as far as competitions go. But I'm pretty chill, and it's just like these matches don't really matter. It's just a weekend tournament. You're here to get
Yeah.
experience, um, and a lot of it is just battle, try hard, fight hard. Try some new techniques. Whatever, have fun. It's funny because there was one of the kids in our club. Um, I knew as the match was going on, but whoever was running the scores table, they kept messing up the points, and they kept giving his points to the other kid,
Yeah.
and there was like an 8-point difference. So he should have been winning by like 4. He was losing by 4. And I could tell he was like, that doesn't add up. But I was just kind of like, who cares? Just keep wrestling, you know? And he basically ended up, getting like 3, 4 more takedowns extra. Instead of they would have scored it right, he probably would have teched the kid sooner,
Well, as
which
long
was
as you
great.
know the score in your head, and it's like, yeah, don't worry about that. But
But
kids are so into winning, and that it's
correct.
like the scoreboard matters so much.
And so then at our next practice, he goes, "Hey, that match, like, was that score right?" And I was like, "No, it was like way off." He's like, "Well, what?" I was like, "Yeah, well, I just want you to wrestle more." He goes, "Oh, okay."
Who? What do you have like college guys reffing or like high schoolers reffing?
Nah, it's a lot of high schoolers. There's some like these have all been well, USA Wrestling.
Yeah.
So there's like some USA Wrestling refs with who are older, but it's also a lot of like high schoolers just trying to like get some reffing experience and try it out. So even that, like, again, there a lot of them are kids, so it's like
Some of them are
volunteers.
good though. Like some of
Yeah,
them are
yeah.
good. We had the Roadrunner Bash last weekend, and the CCB guys were reffing, and I know who was doing the score clock. But the guy who was reffing, I hadn't seen him before. But one of our kids got a 5, and I'm like looking over at Evan Manzo, who's working the scoreboard, and he's just shaking his head because he gave us 4. I'm like, dude, like that wasn't arguing. Because I'm like, hey, like I'm just talking to our guy, like, hey, like good job, that was nice. And he's looking at me like that was 5, and I'm like, it's okay, like dude, you're good, like you're fine. And
Yeah.
then it happened again, and we had a kid who actually this is his first year wrestling, and he wrestled a kid who was he's pretty good. He probably would have been a state qualifier. He was a starter from a Clovis area school, and he gets a takedown, and I'm like, I actually said something like, because I know the kid's good and our kid's like kind of new, but like super athletic, and he just blew through him on a double. And I'm like, bro, and I yell it like loud, like, bro, come on, because he just gave him 1. And I look over at Evan Manzo again, and he's like, I know. And then he says it to the ref, like, give him 2. And we ended up getting teched, but it was like, dude, like he got a takedown. Like, at least let him get the takedown. But I'm normally pretty good about keep my cool in the corner, but that time I just got too into it because the 5 had already happened earlier. So I'm like, yeah, come on, you gotta give us that one.
For sure. I mean, and it's all like,
I don't care. I was talking to the guy after. I'm like, dude, you're fine. Like it's okay.
yeah.
Sorry, I
But
lost my cool.
it's all situational too, right? It's like a weekend freestyle tournament. It's doesn't matter if you win it, take last. It changes nothing. Like you're not
No,
qualifying for anything. It's not like a championship event. Like who cares? Right?
nobody should be cutting weight. It just show up and,
Yeah.
like you said, work on something, try something. Most of our guys are double bracketing when they go to those. They're
Yeah.
trying to just get. I think one kid, he had like 15 matches. He double
Wow.
bracketed. Yeah,
Impressive.
yeah. Well, I mean, it gets to the point where he's starting to get frustrated like later in the day because he'll wrestle like somebody a little bit tougher, in the finals, and like he'll lose or something. And I'm like, bro, if you wanted to win, like I could just go find a 7th grader and we could do an exhibition. And he goes, oh, wait, you like it? Well, it's the same. It's the same thing. Like you didn't double bracket so you could win both brackets. You double bracketed so you can get better at wrestling.
Yep. Exactly. Get challenged.
I think that's a tough thing though for kids is the challenge part. I think we have some kids I think that are down for it, but I think the struggle sometimes is you know understanding that being uncomfortable is super important for growth. Like there's not a lot of really like truly successful people that kind of had to earn their way there that didn't face discomfort probably at a high level.
Yeah, for sure. And not just that, but failure, losses. It's like no one's won every single match they've wrestled their whole life, right? Everyone's lost. And it's just a part of getting better.
How
But
do
you're
you
right.
think Bo Nickel is going to get better after taking that loss?
Yeah, if he wants to keep fighting, I'm sure he will. But I don't know. Maybe he's rethinking the whole fighting thing. I don't
Well,
know.
it's funny. I watched it obviously, but practice this morning, our coaches were getting into, you know, like a whole exchange. I'm like, dude, it's the guy he fought. Like Rainier's legit good. Like he's not a scrub. And technically, I think Rainier was ranked and Bo Nickel wasn't. So it's like, all right. I do think he needs to use his wrestling a little bit more. Like there's you're a high level wrestler, and you could still use that. You don't necessarily have to be like AJ has high level wrestling, but would more use it as like a deterrent. Had good boxing. But I think in that sequence he just outboxed, outstriked.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I think played a factor, he looked a lot smaller than that guy. I don't know. I know that could always be deceiving, but I was surprised how much smaller he looked.
Yeah, I think he looked smaller than the last guy he fought too. I don't Craig something or other, something Craig maybe. It was like big guy with a beard. It was kind of the same thing. He just I think Bo actually maybe has like long arms, like maybe kind of a big-ish frame, but for that weight class, like you're going up against some big dudes. He probably could go. Well, his next weight class is 170. Maybe not. Maybe not. He might
Yeah.
be. I also heard too he was like 20 pounds over or more, maybe the week of the fight.
That'd be kind of hard to believe now.
Well, I know guys have done that, and it's it's I think what 24-hour weigh-ins, so it's possible.
Yeah, I guess I just think if he was that much over, he wouldn't have looked that much smaller than his opponent.
Like he would have blown up, would have been all bloated and stuff.
Yeah, he just would have looked bigger. I mean, shoot, if he was 20 pounds over, how big was the Ritter on the week of? He might have
Yeah,
been
true.
40
That's
pounds
true.
over. I don't know. I just eyeball test. I know, I know who knows what it was, but I don't know.
Who's that Brazilian that's fighting at 205 right now? It's but I think he used to be that weight class.
Oh, yeah, really good one. Shit.
Pereira.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex Pereira. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's huge.
Yeah. He's big. And he was fighting 185, which is ridiculous.
Cracked.
It's kind of like wrestling sometimes where it's like, dude, like you don't have to get your weight down that low. Like if you just are a big guy, just why not fight up a weight? Because normally what ends up happening is like, yeah, the guys are stronger and with fighting, like guys have a little more knockout power, but if you feel good, like I mean, that's probably the most important thing going into a fight is obviously being good, but also feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, it's all plays a part. I think there's a balance there because you also don't want to be small though and weak.
No.
But there's a point of diminishing returns on cutting weight and getting down. So I don't know. It's different for everyone, but you know, I don't know. In wrestling, I'm sure the same in fighting. You see sometimes where a guy may be a better wrestler, but he's just small for the weight class, so he can't execute. Like that's a real thing too. But
Yeah, I mean, you get into be certain positions where it's like you're trying to pull in a leg and maybe you didn't have a clean shot or not a great setup, and the guy's giving you hips, and it's like I can't do anything. Yeah, you're not
yep,
finishing that, man.
no. So I mean, it all plays a part, but I think for long term, for sure. I mean, you just want to focus on getting better. I mean, young wrestlers focus on getting better. You don't want to focus on cutting weight. But I think once you get to those highest levels of competition, I mean, I think everyone's trying to get every percentage of advantage that they can, and sometimes that is cutting weight.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to watch any of the U.S. Open?
Yeah, I caught finals. I think I saw all the finals from the seniors, and then I saw I think most of the semis and finals for the U20.
Yeah, I was
You?
watching. Yeah, I watched most of the senior men's finals. Um, I forgot I had something going on, so I don't necessarily get in the weeds and watch everything. But I looked at most of the results. I thought one of the ones that kind of surprised me was the way that Dake was wrestling 86 kilos. It seemed like he wasn't taking necessarily a lot of risks, like he wasn't necessarily shooting. And I don't know if it's because he is going up a weight, but I thought even when he wrestled 86 kilos in 2016, I thought he was still pretty active and still attacking legs. But like even when he was wrestling, I think it was Kick Tyson, he was just kind of just 2-on-1 getting push outs. So I don't know if he's trying to like hack the system or what. But if you're wrestling against somebody, that can score a lot of points like Valencia, it's like you got to have a solid leg attack. And I think he only really took one in that finals match when he was down.
Yeah, I would say I don't know. He's never been like a big volume attacker, leg attacker, but um, I guess I didn't notice. I only watched the finals match, so I don't know if he just wasn't shooting at all. But he's always been such a good counter wrestler that he's never attacked the legs a lot. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, that's true. I mean, I didn't even think about that. Um, I feel like he always could go get a leg attack if he needed one. Like
Correct.
that was never an issue.
No, he's always been good at that, where it's not volume, but very effective, efficient. He takes one or two shots, he would normally score them on the best guys. But it wasn't like he was trying to light up the scoreboard. He could score big points, counters, like chest wraps for 4, and he could get takedowns and then get like gut wrenches. He's pretty good partier, good gut wrench, but didn't really seem to get in any of those positions against Valencia. So I don't know.
Yeah,
But we'll
I
see.
think Valencia hit him with that duck, and then I think he was maybe trying to catch him, like trying to set up into him or something, and Valencia just topsides and just took him for a gut right away.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I imagine they're going to wrestle again.
Yeah,
It'll be a different match, at least tactics and style and game plan. So
I thought. Did you watch? I mean, obviously you watched the finals, but what do you think about Jax Forrest and these high school guys that are wrestling, seniors?
Jack's Force is impressive. Holy smokes, he can wrestle. He's good.
I think
Um,
what I think of when I think about him wrestling, and same thing with like Bo Bassett, is like, dude, they just wrestle fearless. Like they don't care. Like they just go after it and just try to score.
yeah, correct. Um, their styles are a little bit different, but they're both trying to get after it. They're both trying to score. Um, I think Jack's Force just gets into more wrestling positions right now, where I think Bassett's more like trying to hand fight and control the center more, be more physical. Where I see Jax Forrest just kind of like creating more wrestling action.
He's got a lot more diverse ways to score.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with Bassett, it's funny because I feel like both the ways they wrestle, I think they kind of fit into, I don't want to say mold, but kind of like the atypical styles of where their colleges are. Like Iowa's
Sure.
very much in the hand fight and holding center and not necessarily coming out a lot of position. And then Jax Forrest just bunch of different ways to score and finish. And like you said, trying to get to more wrestling positions, which I think he actually took a loss in high school this year, maybe at like his whatever qualifying tournament in the finals. And I think he made an adjustment and came back. Um, but I think exposing yourself to more wrestling positions and having that kind of style and still being able to, like, obviously you need to have your main way of scoring. And I think most high school wrestlers, it doesn't really apply to. But I think to like continue to grow, I think it's important to continue to not put yourself necessarily in a box, after you're able to develop fundamentals.
Yeah, I mean, completely agree. Just the more positions you get in, the more often you get there, the more you're going to learn, the better you're going to get out of them or at them. And I don't know. I guess I don't know what he does, right? I don't know much about him besides just watching him a few times here and there. But he seems to be very skilled in positions. He put him in 50-50 wrestling positions, and he's really good at them. So
Well,
it's
he's
pretty
he's
impressive.
got. Do you remember like Micah Jordan and like that elbow control, like kind of pass by thing? So he does that like all the time. And we have a lot of guys on our team or a high school team that have like super long arms. So it's hard. It's hard for them sometimes because they don't have a lot of strength yet to kind of win inside positions. So it's like once they get there, it's still kind of hard to move people. But most of the time they're getting beat inside. And it's like, dude, we can wrestle. We can wrestle from elbow control. And it gets it to the point where guys don't want to grab you anymore because you're just going to take stuff away from them.
Yeah, that's like a very uncomfortable tie when someone like grabs your elbow and starts pulling it. You're just kind of like, get off me.
Yeah, it's like, what do I do?
Weird. Yeah, it's like, let me go.
I wrestled Hayden Hastings from Wyoming, and I remember I got inside tying a collar, and he grabbed both my elbows, and I'm like, let go of me.
Yep.
And I didn't know that that elbow pop that you can do. Like if they go elbow control and get inside tie, you can elbow pop and steer or elbow pop and release. But Yeah, I think if you have a style that's uncomfortable to wrestle, I think that's really like a really good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you get people out of their game plan. No. Wrestling from elbows. A lot of guys have been really good at wrestling from there. Good tie up. I didn't wrestle a lot from there. I never coached it a lot because I didn't wrestle a lot there. Never had anyone really teach me to wrestle from there. So just kind of one of those things that kind of just keeps trickling through. But definitely a great tie up. A lot of wrestling can be done there.
You were a big like collar tie and snap. That was kind of
Yep.
your style.
Yeah. Pretty basic collar tie. Snap in as much as you can.
You would sometimes, I think, even like drop to your knees, like trying to get guys trying to pull down their head.
Yeah. Try to just snap all the way to the mat, get them underneath. Yeah. Make them carry some weight, then try to get them to hands get heavy. Then you kind of make them worry about your tie up, and then you can kind of start changing levels and faking, and you kind of got them guessing. But yeah, nothing. I don't think it's too crazy, but just kind of hard to figure out, because like we were just talking about, well, shoot, you get collar tie, inside tie on the wrong guy. Now he's got your elbows. Well, if you don't know how to wrestle through that, now your whole game plan's like shot. So you just kind of got to keep learning how to wrestle in the positions you want to be in, and how to counter and wrestle through all the different looks you might see, I guess, is what's important.
Well, it's kind of just like it's like using logic. It's backwards mapping. It's like if this is where you want to go, it's like, okay, well, how do you stop what you're good at? And then you try to figure out ways to beat or counter what other people are doing to stop what you're doing.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, that's it, right? Just kind of problem solving.
Where you were in Minnesota or were you wrestling in Minnesota, how much time did you feel like you had when like you could just go and work on stuff? Like, was it like a time, like a structured time in practice, or were you getting time with a coach or just going in on your own?
Um, Not a lot during our structured practice. It had to probably come independently. And the coaches would be like, "Yeah, if you want something else or extra, let us know." Right? But yeah, you ask a coach, come in, hey, I think I need to work on this, or just go in with a teammate and work on a couple things. But during our practice time, there wasn't a lot of like, all right, hey, you guys have 30 minutes, do whatever you want. That was pretty rare. I think
Well, even
they would rather get us out of there, or just say, hey, we're done. And if you want to work on something, sure, stick around. Or if you're done, you're done. But it
so even
wasn't
if
like,
it's like hey, 5 minutes you're doing takedown to a turn, whatever your go-to takedown is
oh
to
yeah, like more open ended. Yeah, they would do some of
yeah,
that. Yeah,
like putting some constraints on it, but you're working
yeah,
on. I mean, you might be doing a high crouch while somebody else is doing, snap, go behind or whatever.
yep, we'd do some of that.
How much live would you guys do like during the season, especially
A
like on the
lot,
tail end? Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, we probably did. I don't know, what was it? Like the preseason was a lot of live. It's like we almost every Monday preseason, I'm pretty sure was like an hour of wrestling. Just like an
You
hour.
go an hour straight.
Yeah, they just say something like you get one water break or two water breaks. But there's an hour in the clock. Once the hour's done, practice is over, and you just battle for an hour. So that was a lot, and then they kind of wind down as you got into season where they kind of just, I don't know, you'd probably still early on wrestle like 25 minutes broken up, maybe 30 minutes broken up, and then it just kept shortening as season went on.
I feel like when you were at CCB, I feel like we did a lot live over the summer, but I feel like maybe there were shorter practices. I think, and then during the season, yeah, we kind of maybe start the week a little bit more live heavy, and I think would always kind of taper down, but it wasn't ever more. I don't think than maybe like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was a lot less. Kind of just tried focusing on more. like drilling and like technique and more like troubleshooting where we've been having trouble and just spend time on it.
I think too, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like younger guys, they kind of have to go live a little bit more, especially when they're coming into the college room. And this is kind of where I'm maybe kind of back and forth on it, because on the one hand, you got young guys that are wrestling against older guys and they just get their butt whooped and then they lose their confidence, and that sucks. But on the other hand, they kind of need to used to, the speed and the feel of like a college level practice and the intensity level. And I don't think you necessarily need to go live to do that, but that's probably maybe the easiest route. I don't want to say easy, but
Yeah, it's
simplest
funny.
route.
I was talking to Jay about this past weekend, and we're just kind of talking how it is way different, and maybe it is better, maybe not, but he's still of the old philosophy of just you got to put the time in, you got to put in the volume, and we're just kind of talking. Everyone's like so calculated, no one wants to overtrain. Everyone's like trying to just get it just right, and he's just like, no, just go do a lot, go to where it's too much, and when it's too much, you'll know, and then you could adjust it from there, like taper it back.
Dude, that's one of
Yeah.
those wisdom nuggets right there.
It's like there was like the whole philosophy of like work harder or work smarter, not harder, and it's like, yeah, but the only way you learn to work smart is by working too hard, because you figure it out. It's like you don't start out just working smart. You don't know shit. You learn by working too hard, and that's how you can work smart.
I think if you're maybe self-aware enough, or if you have a good team around you that can, you have those conversations about, all right, we went too hard on this. We know that's the line. But I feel like I also know people that will do something really hard to the point where it's overdoing it, and then either come up with excuses or blame other people, or and then just keep going back to it. It's like, dude, like this doesn't, like you're just gonna get hurt. Like you're gonna get hurt. It's gonna be tough on your mind. Like,
Well, sure. I mean, there's got
make
to
an
be
adjustment.
strategy behind your training, right? There's got to be some sort of method to it, right? Like if all you do all season long is just run, if all you did is wake up, run, you didn't wrestle, you just ran twice a day, of course you're not going to get good at wrestling. But you're working hard, you're running a lot, you're running hard, you're doing a lot, but that doesn't mean you're going to get any better.
Yeah, I'll see this too, because was coaching our. We kind of have a big varsity team and we have a small wrestling room. So we have like we call it varsity two, which is like our developing guys that like they don't belong in the JV room, and we just only have so much space for our other guys that are our starters. So these are kind of like our backups, like second year wrestlers, and we were one of the strategies that we had was like, okay, we're gonna wrestle live, and obviously we need to wrestle live. But when it gets to the point where they start looking really sloppy, we're going to stop it. We're going to give them a break. We're going to switch to something else, whether it's a drill or address some of the things that they're doing and fix it. But like, because we don't want it to go so long to the point where, yeah, they're working hard and they're still wrestling, but it's just starting to look really sloppy, because then it just reinforces bad habits.
Sure. I don't disagree at all. I think even like you can wrestle a long time, but even if like your intensity and effort isn't, if you can't sustain, like sometimes you just can't, you haven't built up to that. I can only wrestle hard for 10 minutes. I don't probably need to wrestle the other 50 in an hour go. I'm not probably going to get as much out of it. So it's like, you know, you can get there, but you're not going to get there overnight. So can you go from, I don't know, say 10 to 20? It's probably more realistic. 10 to 15, and then you probably have a better use of that other 50, 45 minutes doing something else wrestling related. Probably, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, talking to Jay, he's just like, no, just wrestle for an hour. Who cares?
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of funny where it's like every time, even people like obviously again, like I don't really know him that well, but like even when I hear people talk about him, it's always like most of the time he has an opinion, and most of the time that opinion's right. Like that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, man. Wrestle for me. Shit. Practice 3 times a day. Why only 2? Practice 3. Why not? Who cares? It's just like, yeah, I guess,
Well, I mean, you can always overcomplicate things. It's like it doesn't need to be that complicated. Just yeah, if you can wrestle 3 times, wrestle 3 times, and if you're getting hurt or getting sick or you're something else is hurting, like your social life or school and stuff. All right, maybe you need just do 2 practices
Correct.
or find a way around it.
Yeah, old Jay, he's still got a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, I feel like I have his number, but I wouldn't want to just like call him, because I don't even think he probably doesn't even remember me. That was like 6 years ago.
Well, I would recommend you call him and just tell him who you are, and he'll probably be like, "Oh yeah,
I'll write him a letter. I'll do that.
oh yeah, he'd like that."
Yeah, I'll do that. That's probably the better way to go. But yeah, man, we've been going for like an hour and a half. I mean, I feel like I could
Really?
keep talking, but yeah, I know. I look down the clock and it's like, oh crap. What time is it over there? It's like 10 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah, we're getting close to 10.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate talking to you. I want to let you go before Katie gets mad at you because it's getting late.
Yeah, it's all right. But no, great catching up. It is getting late.
Yeah.
Just let me know, man. I love getting on here talking wrestling. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm down to do it sooner rather than later. I think the last time we had you on had to have been like last year.
sounds about right. I think we were talking freestyle wrestling last year, so it was right around this time.
It might have been after the Worlds, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what I think too.
All right,
So,
Manny. Well, appreciate having you on, man, and it's always good talking to you. So
yep.
let's
Have a
catch
good
up soon.
have a good night.
All right, you too, man. See ya.
See ya.